is Sheffield Live.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Sqweek. My name's Luke Crofts. I'm joined in the studio by James Hargreaves.
Hello.
And we have a very special guest with us, Alex Piearcey from Resonate. How you doing?
Not bad, thank you.
Marvellous, I'll turn you up. When we did the sound check, you were eating the microphone and now you sat really far away. How you doing, mate? You alright?
I'm alright, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for coming. We're always good to have a guest that doesn't bombard us with pictures.
God, I've had the worst week ever for that. Thanks, Neil, my brother, who's just literally... I woke up the other morning and had something like 143 new messages from Neil.
There's just no need for it, Neil.
All pictures.
I think I started it again as well this morning. Apologies for that.
Thanks. Thanks.
Have you had a good Christmas, guys?
Yes, I've had a really good one. Just nice, quiet, relaxing one. I'd just stayed at home. Usually do the whole family thing, but this year just fancied having a quiet one and going to catch up with the family kind of this next week.
Alex?
Yeah, busy. Very busy.
Yeah.
Travelling everywhere, not being able to have a bit of a drink, so hopefully today can have a bit of a drink and a bit of a relax.
Did you get any nice presents?
I got... And it's obviously a kids thing, but it's just phenomenally good. Lego Dimensions on PS4.
OMG.
it's crazy. Just toys to life. Just like you build the little Lego figures and cars, and you put them on a little platform, and they come up in the game, and you play with those figures. It's amazing.
I'm just making sure my microphone's on because I can't see anything happening here. The normal technical difficulties in the Sheffield Live studio, but we're okay. What about you, Alex? Any more?
Just Marvel stuff, really. It's a big kid, so just all Marvel stuff. I was expecting another year of socks, but
I haven't had socks for 2 years. I was surprised.
There was 1 year I had about 27 pairs of socks.
Actually, I did get like a male grooming set with one pair of socks in it, but I didn't get a... Well, I have got socks then, haven't I? But I haven't got like a load of socks. I haven't got like a pack of socks.
Yeah. I think people have been listening to... You see on Facebook that little image that went around with a guy with the little bottle, the box of Lynx stuff. Said, men don't want this for Christmas.
Yes, I know, and I've not had one of them this year either. So it's been a decent year, actually. I have to say. Yeah.
Everybody will be looking at what you've had for the last 3 years, and you've probably just got loads of Lynx sets piled up in like a kind of JTF kind of style in your garage, or your Lynx boxes.
What's JTF?
It's a big box retailer, is it like warehouse type retail?
Oh, yeah. Right, okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Bit of advertising there.
I'm sure we'll get away with it, it's fine. Oh, good. Well, yeah, so what did you do over the sort of Christmas Eve? You got Christmas Eve or anything? Do you have any traditions over Christmas that you do every year, or is it changing every year?
Well, on Christmas Eve, I was with you, Luke.
That's what I mean.
for our mate Dave's birthday.
That's our tradition.
That's our tradition.
That's what we normally do.
Yeah.
Normally stay local. I don't like going too far Christmas Eve because it's just a bit of a circus in it. Trying to get a taxi, too busy.
Well, our mate Dave is he's
an avid listener of the show.
Well, an avid listener of the show, but his birthday is Christmas Day, isn't it?
Yes.
It's almost like the second coming with him. But yeah, he's. We go out on the Christmas Eve and kind of celebrate his birthday at midnight when it comes through, get drunk and then regret it in the morning.
I did that. It's my mum's birthday Christmas Day as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a rubbish
amazing
time,
how many
isn't it?
people have their birthdays on Christmas Day, isn't it?
Well, there's a 1 in 365 chance. I would imagine. 366 on a leap year.
Well.
But yeah, it's not a good time. My birthday is around Christmas and it's a bit rubbish having it then.
Cool. We've got Carl Maloney has tweeted in and said he's chilling listening to the Sqweek. And he says that he can't shift for shaving balm. He's obviously got quite a bit. Are they trying to sell you something, Carl? But Carl, was just to mention, Carl will be joining us next week. So we're on for another 2 hours next week from 1 till 3.
We are indeed, yeah, 1 until 3. Unfortunately, Paul Sellers is still not back. He is getting better. But I think his back's still a little bit sore. So he'll be back in the new year.
Yeah, get well soon, Paul.
Paul Sellers from Eclectica. Yeah.
And just a reminder to listeners that you can tweet us. It is at the Sqweek, TheSqweek, or send us a Facebook message at facebook.com/the Sqweek.
Yeah, please do. Please get involved. Please tell us what you're up to. So, Alex, You are in Resonate,
I am.
who we have featured many
Yes.
times. We've got an exclusive as well today, haven't we?
Yeah, we've got a new track from Resonate a bit later today.
Marvellous. So just tell us how long have you been going then as a duo?
As a duo, we have been going for about 3 or 4 years now. We were both of us together. We were in kind of rival bands between Sheffield and Chesterfield. I was in a band called North of Watford, and he was in a band called The Reform. We played a number of gigs in Chesterfield and I think played one in Manchester, and to a point when I decided to leave North of Watford, I was doing other things. I was actually in a working men's club band, and I just fancied doing something new, a little bit of a new project, and kind of poached Mark from The Reform. I think all his mates went to university and he was stuck in Sheffield, so it was kind of the right time to kind of steal him.
A marriage of convenience, you might say.
Definitely.
It's worth mentioning as well that Mark is one of the best drummers you'll ever see live. He's absolutely fantastic. He's Mr. Consistent as well. Never drops a beat. Never messes up whatsoever.
No.
And he runs all the track as well. So it's obviously Resonate are an electronic band. So they have a backing track, and he runs all the track, plays drums, and basically controls it. Whilst Alex is a diva out front.
Of course. We wouldn't have it any other way.
But no, it's interesting because it's literally just the two of you. You're not a normal, typical, 5-piece Sheffield band, are you?
Originally we were a 4-piece. When we first started out, there was another 2 guys, bass player and a guitarist, and we'd wrote about 6 or 7 songs, ready to release them. But to be honest, when we were kind of practicing and ready to gig, it just seemed that the other 2 guys just wasn't really interested in kind of going out and doing that kind of stuff. So it was just more than anything, me and Mark was doing it. So we just moved it.
The two of you.
Yeah. We rented out a practice studio, which was costing us a lot of money, and it's just thought, let's just make it us two, and we'll take it from there, really. So it was really hard at first.
I was going to say, how easy did you find that transition?
So difficult. Just like what we decided to do originally was use an electric kit and an acoustic guitar, and we sat there for about 2 months, and just wasn't working. Nothing was working. It was like, so we decided to start from the beginning. That's when we introduced the backing tracks. There's a song by. Can I mention artists, other artists?
Of course you can, yes. We are a music show.
Fair enough.
It's fine, yeah.
Because I thought I got a bit of a look when I said a company's name, so it was just a bit like.
Oh no, that's just I don't know what my face is doing, Alex. So don't worry
Oh,
about
fair
it.
enough.
It's absolutely
He
fine.
didn't know JTF anyway, so it'll just be his confused face.
Kind of panicked. No, there's a song from Tiny Temper's first album, which is scaring me off to death again. No, there's a song from Tiny Temper's first album, and it kind of has a 1950s superhero kind of voiceover thing. And I said, let's try and do something like that. And then Mark came out with this, I can do all the backing tracks, and that's pretty much how we started from there. So in his bedroom, just kind of started it there, really, and just got better and better and better to what we're doing now. So.
Who was it we were talking about last week, James? It was, I want to say No Hot Ashes. Is it them that there's a lot of backing involved, or is it?
No,
is it
was
Ordnance?
4 authors.
4 authors.
Ordnance, yeah, they
mixed up with
they
them
have a
all.
backing track, but it was 4 authors that we saw at CARNALL Presents a few weeks ago. We played them a couple of weeks ago as well, and they've got a backing track, and it just fills out the sound, and it makes it sound so much bigger than a normal act does. It really works for Resonate as well. 'Cause Resonate are obviously a 2-piece, and to fill out a stage when they're supporting a 5-piece band or something. Sorry, was my microphone not right there? You've just been fingering my microphone.
I have, yes. No, what it is if there's directional mics, aren't they? So if it's pointing the wrong way,
Okay, right.
it doesn't capture all of the wonderful things that come out of your mouth.
It's my bad microphone technique. Sorry.
Well, it's not the best microphone, to be fair. I've given you the worst one.
So yeah, the electronic backing track really helps like a lot of bands to fill out the sound, especially if you're two-piece and you don't have like the bass player and the full orchestra and everything like that. It's something that really works for Resonate, and Four Authors just smashed it with theirs as well.
Awesome. Right, well that's a bit about Resonate then. We'll come back to that later on. Have we got a piece of musical genius to kick off the show? We
do, and it's one that's been stuck in the head all week, Luke, and it's just proof that it works being played on this show, because we played them last week, and by Monday they were signed.
Goose.
So they've been signed. It is Goose.
Is it Goose?
Yeah, Noah Ashes and Goose. I couldn't resist.
Oh, I love this song. Oh, I love it. This is no Hot Ashes with Goose.
Keep me sane. Just a strong dose of morphine, no, she helps to ease the pain. Is she imaginary? Is she imaginary? Is she imaginary? She's got me dancing. Is she imaginary? Is she imaginary? Is she whatever kind of weather. She come to see me in red diamonds leather. Is she imaginary? Is she imaginary? Is she imaginary? She's got me dancing. Is she imaginary? Is she imaginary? Is she her?
I don't even know what noise I just made. But we got to make a mental note here, Luke, because Carl has again tweeted us, and Carl's on next week, and he's just let us into the fact that he can do a goose honk.
Fact.
So yes, goose honk. We're going to hold you to that next week, Carl. I think we need a goose honk at least once every 15 minutes.
What can you do, Alex?
Not a goose honk.
I'm glad, actually. You can
Be a battle of goose honks.
So no hat ashes there with Goose. I'm really pleased that they've been signed. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's really good news.
They're really big in Manchester. They're playing This Feeling, which is a showcase of up and coming bands on the 30th of January in Manchester. And they've been championed by people like Mr. Peeps, who's got a really popular podcast for unsigned music in Manchester as well. So they definitely one to look out for, and they're a great live band as well.
Awesome. Brilliant. We should congratulate Alex, by the way, because we've heard he's the new member of Cosmos.
Well, everybody's in the Cosmos, I think.
Everybody's in it, but they don't know they're in it. Sorry, that's in reference to Neil Hargreaves' Band Fantasies.
Yes, he's still carrying on with that. He's got Jack Galvin on board now, and him and Jack are still carrying it on. I can't wait, because hopefully they will do something and release something, and it'll either be something really good, really comedy, or really, really bad.
Either way, it'll be really, really memorable.
Yeah, yes, as always. Anything that Neil does is.
So what's been happening in the news then this week, James? Apart from, I know it's been Christmas, so it's probably been a bit of a slow news week. There's been a few things happening, though, haven't there?
Yes, there's quite a few Christmas things. Did you get any Christmas presents that you didn't particularly like, that you can talk about on air because everybody's listening?
I loved all of my Christmas presents.
All right, it's not what you told me off there.
That's a lie.
Just joking.
You can read my mind.
No, I saw this today.
Well, actually, though, have you ever had a Christmas present that someone's bought you when it's really for them?
Oh, I do that all the time. That's my trick. It's like, especially with like kids and stuff, my nephews and stuff like that. It's like I buy them the toys that I know I would like, and
so when you go around, you can play with them.
Yeah, that's it. It's brilliant. Why not?
Ingenious and calculated.
Well, just in case anybody did get any unwanted Christmas presents and they're not going to re-gift them, if you go to Toronto in Canada, there's a little pop-up shop that's sprung up on one of the main streets in Toronto.
Or popped up, you could say.
It has popped up. And they will let you trade in your Christmas present rejects and pay you back in Skittles, the confectionary delight.
I think our good friend Richard Giles would like that. He likes Skittles, doesn't he?
Yes, yeah.
Obsessed.
I used to work with Rich, and we once had an afternoon of drinking Skittles, and I swear that is the biggest sugar rush and come down I've ever had from sugar.
Do you know, Richard's not learned from that, At one point he was taking caffeine, are they like pills or something?
Yeah, like the Pro Plus things.
Yeah, well, yeah, they were like, they weren't like those, but they were different for like keeping his energy levels up and that. And I sent him, because I used to go running with him around Hillsborough Park. We used to do 5k around Hillsborough Park, and I texted him. I said, "We're going running tonight." And he texted me back saying, "No, I've had to have an ambulance because I've had a caffeine overdose." He'd been drinking. I don't know what he'd been drinking, like the drink as well, and taking all these pills. He's had a caffeine overdose. Probably all the Skittles he'd been eating as well.
Actually had an ambulance as well.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But unsurprising.
Yeah, we used to when we worked together. We used to go out at lunchtime to the garage up the road, and get your sandwiches or whatever for lunch, and then just buy like 2 big massive packs of sweets like Skittles or something like that, and spend the afternoon eating them. Which is probably why I'm not as svelte as I should be.
I don't know what you mean.
I'd like to see this Skittles shop, though. It would be... Are they just in packets, or is there pictures of it, or...
There's a picture on the citynews.ca website of it, and it's been trending on Facebook and stuff, so you might have seen it on your feeds. But yeah, it's a nice red shop with the Skittles logo on it, and Yeah, I think if you got any socks that you don't want, just stick them in.
Just going back to that, what's your stance on regifting gifts?
If you can get away with it, do it.
Nah,
Definitely.
I'm one of those that likes to keep all the gifts. For me, there's the thought and the love behind it, and if you re-gift it, then you're giving away that kind of.
Are you not just re-gifting the love?
Yeah, that's it.
But if you have an auntie or uncle that you've not seen for like, I don't know, 15 years maybe. I don't know why that number has come up in my head, but 15 years, and you want to, you have to get them something for any reason, a Lynx box or anything like that. You could just hand it them.
Yeah, take it from the stash of Lynx box sets. There you go.
When it comes to presents, it's supposedly the thought that counts, isn't it? Which is why I think about buying people presents and never do.
Oh, that's very Christmassy, that, isn't it? Yeah, okay, yeah, fair enough then, yeah, good.
So yeah, and going back to the Skittles shop, have you ever been in an M&M's shop?
Yeah, I went to the one in London. It's ridiculous.
It's incredible.
It is
incredibly ridiculous.
It is incredibly ridiculous. I went to Vegas, and there's a massive one in Vegas which is on like about 5 levels, and it's a lot of overpriced tat, to be honest, isn't it? But
how do you judge how much Skittles you would get for a pair of socks? How many is it?
Yeah, what's the exchange rate?
It doesn't actually say on this. I'm quite interested to know that myself. I would like to think that there's some kind of weight ratio. You weigh in your pair of socks.
Yeah.
But them socks are quite light, aren't they? So.
Well, it's like when you take your old clothes that you don't want to the dump, and they say, you get like 5 pence for every 40 kilograms or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
It'd be the same thing, wouldn't it?
It's the weight of your socks in Skittles. That's, that'd be an interesting concept.
What have we got next on the musical front then, James?
On the musical front, we have a track from a rubbish little known duo from Sheffield that nobody likes.
Oh, is it Resonate?
Oh yeah, that's them.
Is this the special exclusive?
This is the exclusive one. Go on,
Alex, tell us about it.
I'll be leaving after that one. Thanks for that comment. I'll be leaving. No, this one is will be released hopefully next year. We're going to start looking at releasing a few more tracks. I think we released one last year, Memories. So this will be probably the next one, or sometime in 2015-16 that it will be released. This one is called Truth.
So this is Resonate with Truth on the Sqweek 93.2 FM. Get in touch on the Twitter at the Sqweek.
It's so unmistakable that our two worlds collide. It feels like you have played the cards and the jury's on your side. I know that you clearly win, but things can change, my dear. Watching you just crash and burn, you see just so much clearer. Finally, the truth is there to find us.
Resonate and Truth. So, Alex, how did you come to write that one?
Just kind of happened, really. There's not really a massive story behind it. A lot of people
How does it work with writing in Resonate?
Yeah, just generally. I mean, how do you do it? Is it a collaborative thing? Is it one of the two here, or?
Yeah, normally we kind of meet up in Mark's flat, just have a bit of a mess about. If I have got an idea I want to put through, and then kind of Mark just builds it from there. As soon as we've got a kind of a rough full song, no layers on it, just a rough idea, then he'll send it me, and I'll just start writing the lyrics, and then we'll just start building it with all the different tracks on there.
Where do the lyrics normally stem from then? Is it all... Because I always have an interest in this, because I was asking Danny Piearcey when we had him on. Danny sometimes writes just from fiction. It's not all from personal experience with Danny. Although I think his newer stuff probably isn't it, because he's written quite a lot recently.
Yeah, he's done some good comedy stuff on his Facebook page as well.
Yeah, he's a real character, is Danny. Yeah. So where does it stem from with your guys' stuff?
For us, I think it's more personal experiences. Mainly, I'm the sole songwriter for Resonate. So it's always my personal experiences, what I've gone through.
Yeah.
In future, well, in past stuff, but kind of trying to lead away from that kind of stuff now, because it's been done. It seems kind of if you're writing about relationships or heartbreak or anything like that, it's not the greatest. You want to kind of have a bit of a fun night with, and if you're writing about somebody's.
Well, that's what a lot of people say about the Sam Smiths and Adele's at the moment. That's what all of their albums have sort of centred around, isn't it? And
yeah.
Either that's why it only appeals to a certain audience.
Yeah.
You either not audience, but you either like it or you don't. You can't just sort of be in the mood to listen to it all the time, sort of thing.
No, I think it's for any band really. I think there's stages. When I was writing, been writing since the age of 17, 18. So you're right from first started going out and stuff like that, like Arctic Monkeys did.
Yeah.
And then you kind of write into kind of relationships, and as soon as you get older, and then just write about.
You have a different outlook on
Yeah,
life,
definitely.
sort of thing. So what sort of stuff did you used to listen to when you were growing up then?
When I was growing up, I was massive on Arctic Monkeys.
Yeah.
Literally, everybody was. And back then, 2007, everybody that wanted to be in a band was a 4-piece band as well.
Yeah.
So everybody listened to Arctic Monkeys. I was the same, MILBURN, Reverend, and then kind of growing up even more, I was in a cover band, working men's club band, so I was listening to Beatles and everybody like that, and worked a lot on kind of getting harmonies right for with Beatles stuff, and just kind of fell in love with Beatles. So trying to get those harmonies, trying to bring those harmonies into Resonate as well. Bit difficult when there's only two of you and Mark doesn't sing, and it's and he won't.
So what do you do in that scenario then? Do you record the harmonies on the backing track?
Yeah, record the back. Well, what we do is when we record in the studio, they'll give us a full tracks, all kind of pieced up, so we can just put whatever we want onto it,
smash it up.
Yeah, and just layer it up as well. So, which we've done in about 2 or 3 songs, and it really, really does work as well. So it's a lot of people enjoy that kind of sense of it as well. So
Cool.
So recording, the last few times we recorded have been at Two Fly, haven't they? With Alan Smythe, and anyone who knows music will know that Alan Smythe, he produced the Arctic Monkeys' first album, didn't he?
He's a god, isn't he?
He's an absolute Sheffield legend, and done a lot with Reverend and the Makers. He did a lot with MILBURN back in the day as well. Who, it's worth mentioning, MILBURN got back together on stage at the Joe CARNALL gig as well.
They're releasing an announcement on the 18th of January as well.
Yeah.
Which I can't wait for.
Yes. I think people might have a clue what that is, but yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, and
Can't wait.
I personally can't wait for that.
Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
MILBURN was a massive thing for me as well when I was starting bands as well. So
well, they were all Arctic Monkeys, MILBURN. They were all from a similar time.
Yeah.
They all knew each other. I think they all go to school with each other at one point.
Yeah, I think at one point you could walk into, if you remember, the boardwalk. You could walk into the boardwalk, and behind the bar you'd have like there was Chris McClure, there was one of the guys from Arctic Monkeys, there was Joe from MILBURN, all working there and putting on nights. And there's a ticket stub if you go out and you can look online, and there's a ticket stub that somebody posted a while ago, which was a night at the boardwalk, and it had the lineup of Arctic Monkeys, MILBURN, and Reverend and the Makers all on the same night. And we're just fiddling about in the studio because there is a funny noise on one of the some kind of tapping going on.
Doing my head in.
Well, it's also doing listeners' heads in. Ray's tweeted.
I'm glad it's not just me. I thought somebody was communicating me through Morse.
Well, yeah, somebody locked in the other studio going, let me out, let me out. But yeah, there's if you can hear that, we're aware of it, and we haven't got
I've done
a clue what it is.
I sorted it.
Oh,
Do
we
you know
have a clue.
Do you know what I
it is.
did when I went
broke
to
the CD player?
Did I take that out or did I put it in? I think I went to eject that.
Yeah, and
which
then
is the
put it
CD on the right hand side, and then knocked that, and then it was like Morse.
Lovely. So yeah.
If I did say anything untoward in Morse there, I do apologise. I don't actually speak Morse.
Brilliant.
So MILBURN. When is it? 18th? Is it 16th?
18th.
So
18th
they're announcing something on the 18th. They've released it on all their social media, haven't they? A little picture of the old album cover, and I think there's an idea what it's going to be. There's a lot of people talking about it.
I believe it's 10 years of their Well
yes,
album, I think,
yeah,
isn't it? So.
Which is a great album, by the way. But obviously, I said a few weeks ago, if they get back together, we will have, it'll be a great night. It's one that you're guaranteed to get a good night from. So if they do get back together and do a gig, then go down there, buy your tickets quick, because that thing will sell out.
Yeah, it won't be on sale for a while. Awesome. So where, in terms of gigs then, Alex, best gig?
Best gig.
I know it's a tough one.
There's been loads. To be honest, I don't want to kind of really put of a best gig on it. Really, I enjoy every single one we do.
Okay, then
very privileged of doing them. To be honest.
What about best venue?
Best venue. I think Bar Abbey was good. I enjoyed Bar Abbey when we did that. That was incredible. Plug is always a delight to play.
Yeah.
We supported Antarctic Monkeys at Sheffield O2 Academy, which was absolutely incredible as well. The Sheffield music scene, I love all the venues. I think one of the best I have done though is Frog and Parrot.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening at Frog and Parrot all the time, isn't there? And it's just. I think it's the layout of the room. It's different. Yeah, it's sort of upside down, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're not
kind of
the stage is low
Yeah.
as opposed to, and everybody else is up above. It's a different one.
One of the things I really love in a Frog and Parrot is watching people walk past outside.
Yeah.
And invariably they'll stop to look through the window at what's going on, unbeknownst to them, or maybe they're just silly in doing it, but their face is in front of everybody watching. They're there just peering through the window behind the band, and if you imagine that, if it was on a normal stage, it'd just be hilarious anyway.
Yeah.
And so it's really funny when it happens in a Frog and Parrot.
What about well, have you been to the Court? Oh, of course you have. Yeah,
Yeah, we
that's
play
where,
cool. Yeah.
yeah, that's where I met you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The new room.
Yeah, the new
upstairs.
room. What do you think to the new room? Because I really like that room.
So Corpse is a bit different for me because it has been like that kind of dark and kind of. It's not somewhere I would like to kind of go really. It's somewhere I would try and avoid from going on a night out because you stick to the floor. But
Do you know it's the only place I've been in where you stick to the floor even after you've left. It's that bad. It is that bad.
But no, the new room is incredible. It's they've done a really good job, and if they can keep it like that, then it will be a great venue.
I mean, me and James, obviously, we the night you went, we were going to see Slow Readers and October Drift, weren't we? And you know how much I was looking forward to going, James. I got told to shut up moaning, but I was really surprised at how nice that room is, and I like that sort of a place where it's a nice, intimate space. You're not too close or too far away from the stage. It was just right for me. I really liked it. I think the only thing that let down was the sort of shape of the roof.
But it seemed to have fixed that a little bit with the panels that they put. So
the dampers.
That really worked that night. And how good were Slow Readers?
Incredible.
Very good.
There was a point where I was just kind of sat there and just watched. I just stood there and I kind of lost myself a bit.
Yeah,
I was just stood where they were
They were
drinking
really
with my
good,
mouth wide open. So
well, they're back in Sheffield early next year, so watch out for them. I don't think it's been announced yet, but
well, it has now.
But you don't know when and where.
You heard it here first, Denmark. Just in reference to that, we're on Acast and we do get a lot of. We're massive in Macedonia. Apparently, looking at the listening figures. So, if you're into podcasting, we're on Acast.
Yeah, Acast. It's a good little platform. I've been listening to a few other podcasts on there. And,
the app's really well put together as well. It's really really smooth, easy to use.
Yeah. But if you don't have Acast, you can subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and all the normal places. Just search for the Sqweek.
And you know, actually, it's so easy to do. I didn't know that I'd got podcasting
the app
icon on here.
Yeah.
So you literally just click on. Well, how long does it take now? Okay, right. Click on the podcast. Search for the Sqweek, and then just click subscribe.
Yeah.
So that's taken 10 seconds.
It's dead easy.
You can subscribe
all
in 10
and
seconds.
iPads have the podcast app built in. So,
yeah. So under 10 seconds you can subscribe and listen back. And if you've got a motor vehicle, I'm on the road, so I listen to now podcasts because I'm sick of the radio.
Yeah.
Commercial radio. I love community radio. Community radio is the best, but commercial radio is just adverts every 10 minutes, and I can't be doing it anymore. So I listen to podcasts. So if you've missed the live show, you can just look back on the podcast.
I was reading an article the other day about that, and the podcasts are obviously getting big, and they're getting bigger and bigger. And the theory is that because like USB ports are built into cars now, and they connect up via Bluetooth and stuff, they're just going to continue to get bigger and bigger.
Yeah,
so
it's really good.
Get on the bandwagon.
Absolutely. So Alex,
yes,
worst venue.
We did this to Danny, didn't we? Danny Piearcey.
To be fair, Danny did it to himself.
Yeah, several times.
Ever.
Before he was actually due to play there. He was playing there about 4 days later, and he went, we were talking about this venue, and he went, that's the least of its problems, and then carried on slagging it off.
The worst one ever.
Yeah.
Playing with Resonate or anywhere? Anywhere. Pretty much all the working men's club in the northeast.
Yeah, it's a tough one, that, isn't it? Tough one, working men's clubs, because they're big buildings, aren't they? And they're not always full. And I would imagine in the northeast, when they are full, it can be a bit of a challenge.
Yeah. There's one in Stockton on Tees, and it's the Bus Club. And literally, you park in this car park which is full of wire fencing, barbed wire on the top of it.
Good sign.
And you kind of reverse your van towards the entrance, and we had like 3 tons of equipment, so 6 speakers, amps, guitars, everything, and literally you just went up about 5 flights of concrete stairs just carrying one thing, and it just took hours to bring everything up, and then especially at 1:30 in the morning when you want to come back and you need to come home, and then you're up in Darlington the next day. It's the worst thing ever.
What about the crowds though?
They were all right. First, like you do 2 spots when you're in a working men's club. So you do like kind of your showpiece stuff in the first spot, and then the second spot's a bit of a let's have a party atmosphere.
Yeah.
So the first spot, everybody's kind of just sat there drinking your £1.30 half a bitter and that, and then you come to the party and everybody's up dancing to Barry White and everything like that. See, the North East, I think the best thing about the North East was the absolutely loved Don't Stop Believing Journey. Everybody asked for it, and then you go further down south and then just everybody hates it.
Yeah, it's a funny one. That I think.
So this is when you were doing covers, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When I were at uni, that was one of the songs that was like an end of the night tune.
Yeah.
You know, at the hubs or whatever. Yeah, crazy.
We used to play at the end of the night, and back in my DJing days, the last song we used to play always used to be like a kids' theme tune, like from a kids' TV show. And absolute truth, it used to cut down people fighting and stuff like that because everyone went out in a happy mood.
There you go.
So
I think you need to be the enforcer of Sheffield Town Centre on a Friday night.
I think there's a city
in a big van playing Rosie and Jim
with a megaphone.
I think it was Nottingham. There was a city where all the clubs got together because they had a big kind of crime and violence problem at the end of a club night, and they all got together and all agreed to do it. And each one had their own special kind of signature kids TV theme that everyone remembered. So yeah, it's a little tip there for any DJs working in clubs.
James's top tip.
After you've been banging out the tunes, then put some Rainbow on or something.
Another one of those. Same time next week. Right, what's the next piece of music then, James?
Well, we mentioned him earlier, or we mentioned them, and we played this a couple of weeks ago. He had his big gig. Joe CARNALL Jr. and Friends, and this one is a track from MILBURN. This is Storm in a Teacup.
Oh, is this the live one?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Sing along.
Awesome. This is the Sqweek on 93.2 FM.
Yes, she's been walking down my street, saluting magpies, avoiding cracks at her feet. Oh, be careful, they can break your back, you know. But that superstition don't count for much. It's all in your head and not in your touch. If it's working, I'll reconsider. So what you crying for? You're a big girl now. No master's going to get you. You've been trying, but you don't know how. Is it 'cause they never let you? No, looks like it's all too much. Your ears are burning, they're talking about you. I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. Don't need no excuse or alibi, no explanation to grab hold of your eye. You wouldn't even need to know her name, but I just can't work it out at all. She sends me round the bend, she drives me up the wall. But it's worth it, I know she means well. So what you crying for? You're a big girl now. No master's going to get ya. You've been trying, but you don't know how. Is it 'cause they never let ya? No, looks like it's all too much. Your ears are burning, they're talking about you. I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. One last big one. So what you crying for? You're a big girl now. You've been trying, but you don't know how. No, looks like it's all too much. Your ears are burning, they're talking about you. I know, I know, I know, I know, I know.
It's Joe CARNALL Jr. from his Joe CARNALL Jr. and Friends Christmas gig. That was last year's, not this year's, but an old MILBURN track there, and yeah, they've got their announcement coming up in January. Can't wait to see what's happening with them.
And I wonder what it could be.
I shall be there front row if they get back together.
What if the announcement is not that they're getting back together?
Then I will go into a van and I will kidnap them all at knife point and force them to do it. It's time. They need to get back together.
They do. But any members of MILBURN listening to this, be aware of James driving in a big van.
Watch out for vans. I don't even drive.
That's a good point. I didn't even think of that myself.
You just looked at me as though I was some kind of lunatic, which I am.
Well, if you're threatening to get people at knife point, I think whether you have a licence or not would go out of the window, I think.
Yeah, I'm expecting to get a tweet from South Yorkshire Police anyway. Yeah. South Yorkshire Police have just followed the Sqweek.
Yes, not having a licence is the least of my problems in that scenario.
Yeah, absolutely.
We were just talking there about venues and stuff, weren't we? We've gone through best venue, worst venue. We whilst MILBURN were playing there, or Joe playing MILBURN, we were talking about West Street Live and just saying how that's kind of, it's almost become the bedding ground for new bands, isn't it? There's a lot of young new bands. Matt Hume does a lot of nights there with Fourth City. So it is kind of the place to go in the week for finding some new talent.
I mean, when we had Danny Piearcey on a few weeks ago and he was playing Maid of Vale in the week, we went to see him there, and I think what we were saying when we had Neil on as well, Maid of Vale, whilst it does have bands on, it's sort of like doing it as an afterthought, so the studios are sort of at the back end of the bar, whereas you go into West Street Live and it's like the focal point of the room. Yeah. So I went down with a couple of friends, and it weren't very busy, and then we walked the next block to West Street Live, and it was really busy, and this is a Wednesday night. Yeah. So that just shows you it's got the reputation now, hasn't it, West Street Live?
It's popular with students as well, because they have about, if you look at the signs on the walls, they have about 1 million different drinks offers. So,
do you know, one Christmas Eve I went in there and for some reason West Street Live had not been a place I'd really drank that much. I think I'd just avoided West Street at that point in my life, and it was my round, and I went to the bar, and I went because I think we were all on bottles, so like 3 for a £5 or whatever, and I went to the bar. This was fairly late on Christmas Eve, and I went, "Excuse me, mate, have you got any offers on?" And my mate does, absolutely creased up laughing. I've never seen him laugh as much in his life. And bloke just literally turned around and just went. And I was like,
please peruse our menu wall of offers.
You can't move for A4 posters, can you?
They've got a variety, haven't they? All the drinks that they got in there.
It's very reasonably priced.
Anything.
Very reasonably priced. Thing is, I always end up on Desperados and then end up very, very intoxicated.
Yes, yeah. Well, as well with the music scene in there, when Matt's about, and especially if you get Neil in there and a few of those, Jack behind the bar, the other half of the Cosmos, suddenly the shots start coming out, and then Neil starts trying to dance on the dance floor and trying to balance and stand up on that little pole that's in the middle of the dance floor for some reason.
Well, we were just talking about Christmas presents you weren't sure whether you'd want. I don't like Sambuca. I had a bad experience when I was about 18 or 19, and it's one of them drinks that I can't stand. And my mum got me some chocolate Sambuca flavoured liqueurs, and I was like, oh, they're going to be awful. Tried one last night. Really nice.
Yeah.
So I ate them all.
I do like a Sambuca, to be fair.
It's one thing that I can't do.
That and tequila.
I'm not a fan of tequila. No, not a big fan of it. But then I can drink absinthe. I really like the taste of absinthe. I don't particularly like the burning you get from the alcohol, as it goes down and rots your insides. But
I'm going to tell you a story now, James.
Go on. Is everybody sitting comfortably?
When we were at university, there were 11 of us in our little group, and there was one guy that was older than the rest of us by about 10 years, Des. And he took us. We went out, and he took us in Bowery before it was, when it was reasonably new. And I don't remember. I remember getting in, and my dad threatening to throw me out. And my dad has not got the best temper, but that was a new one. And my room was in time. I'm thinking, what happened last night? Nobody could remember anything. It was the first time we'd all gone out as a group. And Des was saying, I think we've been spiked because I've never been as bad as that. Walked into uni. Turns out Des had bought us all absinthe and none of us could remember.
Brilliant.
I've never been in such a state. There were pictures of us in the middle of the road and everything. It was an absolute nightmare. Of course, we're all fairly young. We didn't really understand what absinthe was and how strong it was and the rest of it. Yeah. Because you can't get it in many places, can you? There's not many places that sell it.
No.
And yeah, we were in a right tangle.
I went to Prague several years ago, and I went to Prague for Christmas. Actually spent Christmas there, and brought a bottle of, the proper hardcore absinthe.
I mean,
back.
If you don't know, it can be as much as anything as like 80% proof, can't it?
Yeah.
Absinthe. It's a really, really strong.
We brought it back, and we had
spirit.
We had a New Year's party with my other brother Lee was there. And I decided to break out the absinthe.
You've got another brother?
Yeah.
How many brothers have you got?
Two brothers, one sister.
All right. I didn't know any of this.
I didn't know all about Lee.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we got this bottle of absinthe, and I was necking it as I normally do. And I remember giving him a little shot of it. He took the shot, and as soon as it must have been as soon as it touched his stomach, it just all came straight back up, literally within an instant. So yeah, it can be really hardcore, dangerous stuff. That.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Lovely. So yeah, drink responsibly, please.
Yes.
Don't do what we do.
But and drink responsibly goes out of the window when you walk into West Street Live. That's about the rule of it, I think.
It does though. I think
Definitely.
It does though.
Yeah.
There's glitter bombs and stuff like that. It's their drinks.
Yeah, that's the Goldschlager, isn't it? With the it's actually flakes of gold.
Yeah.
in it, isn't it? Yeah, we had some of that on that night as well.
There's a drink which, for obvious reasons, can't mention the name on the radio. But one of my friends, there was a deal. I think there was 10 for £10. It was only like little drinks, and he would go into West Street Live and buy these 10 of them. He would buy 10 of them and just drink them all at the same time. They had Red Bull in it, I think, and stuff like
some
that.
Awful concoction.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't the nicest person to kind of come home in a taxi with, especially the size of him as well. You kind of like trying to hold him out of the taxi and not being able to hold on.
Yeah, definitely.
I got a story where there's a man in Australia who in America, who is suing the brewers of Foster's. Have you seen this?
What, for being such a rubbish lager?
No,
Quite
surprisingly not.
Impartiality as always on the Sqweek.
No, he's suing them because the advertising made him think it was Australian when it was actually brewed in Texas.
Yeah, that's the thing with Foster's. It's actually, wherever you buy it, normally brewed in that country. So the Foster's we have is brewed in GB, innit?
Yeah.
And it's not widely drank in Australia. I've been to Australia. You can get it, but nobody drinks it. They drink like Tui's in Australia or VB.
Yeah.
They don't really drink Foster's. It's rubbish to them.
What makes this guy? He must not have the most fantastic life to actually try and sue these people.
Are you saying he's got too much time on his hands?
Definitely. Yeah. It's like some people, they sign petitions on pretty much everything going. And these people have just too much time on their hands to do that kind of stuff.
I mean, I don't think he's got a case, because it does say on the back of the can or bottle brewed in his case, the USA.
Yeah,
but Americans will sue anybody for anything, won't they? In fairness.
Well, apparently he's pointed out that their Facebook page is filled with Australian references, including a promo about mates rates and references to Walkabout. And then obviously the can's got a picture of a kangaroo on it and the Southern Cross constellation. So he's obviously doing this, but too much time on his hands.
If there are any legal professionals listening, please let us know if you think he's got a case. Yeah. Tweet us, we'll send you the link. Let us know. The Sqweek on Twitter.
He's, the irony is that Foster's was apparently created by Irish Americans.
So he's not Australian anyway then?
When they emigrated to Australia and made it, but there were Irish Americans that made it, apparently, originally in Melbourne in 1888. Fact of the day.
You need a jingle.
That is it.
You've done 2 facts there.
Actually, that is a good fact. So there were Irish Americans that made it in Melbourne, so it was originally Australian.
Yeah, so it's Australian technically, but...
Made by Irish Americans.
Yeah.
That is a good fact, that.
Who were born in Birmingham.
I love a good fact.
Do you know, sometimes... Did you get any... Have you had Christmas crackers this year?
Yeah.
I've not had any facts in mine. I've just had jokes and charades.
I haven't had any Christmas crackers. Not a one. I didn't even have turkey for dinner. I had
Beef Wellington.
which was absolutely gorgeous.
We were talking about that driving to the studio, weren't we?
It was the best meat I've ever cooked. It was absolutely lovely.
Was it homemade?
Yeah, we made it all ourselves, and the beef was so tender and just fell apart on the spear, and like creamy beef, just so nice. I could eat it all again right now.
I'm right hungry now.
Well, I've just been for breakfast at Bill's in St Paul's Parade, and a bit disappointed.
Yeah,
So I'm feeling hungry as well, but for different reasons. Yeah. Right, well we're on for a special 2-hour show this week. So after the ads, we'll still be here with Alex from Resonate,